the show. I'm Jenna Moncton.
And I'm Tosh Taylor.
And this week, we are celebrating the almost arrival of summer. After the long weekend in May, I feel like everyone is ready for summer. It's not officially on the calendar yet, which is very important to my children. I have one who's extremely literal. Like, what date? No. It is not summer yet.
It's true.
And in my mind, it's not really summer till school's out. But the kickoff to the summer festival season really is about to get underway.
Oh yeah, and we are busy in the whole province, really. Like it's not just the major hubs here. We're talking the whole province, and we're gonna help you with some ideas. I think.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on a few highlights of things that are happening, especially in June, a little bit into July and August, just to like wet your whistle, start your planning. You can find links to these things in the show notes. Just look them up yourself online. A lot of these are long-standing festivals and events, but a few of these are new this summer too.
Yeah, and it's blowing up with downtown. We're going to start the first weekend in June.
Sounds like a good plan.
So we'll start with the Greater Moncton Dragon Boat Festival, which I say this every time I talk about it on air. It is probably one of the coolest events that I've been a part of and taken part in and watched and emceed and blah, blah, blah. Every year it's something different. I've even been on the boats.
I was going to say,
not very good. I had many times. Not very good at it, and we always lose. So I think a couple of years back.
It's not about winning, really. It's about the cause.
It's about the cause, which is one of my favorite parts about it, is that it's money raised for Lion Sick Children's Fund, but also whatever other charity you want. So your team can raise money for Friends of the Moncton Hospital or for cancer awareness, et cetera, breakfast programs within your school. And I think that that's truly incredible that they're willing to share.
And I think it's such a neat way that event is set up, where one day is really like the high school teams, and then you have the corporate teams. And I love seeing the kids, even dropping my kids off at the school in the morning of the Dragon Boat Festival. You see all the high school kids coming out all dressed up and ready to go. And it's just, you can just feel the energy oozing through the entire community.
It is one of the most crazy events. The high school games blow my mind, because I've never seen my high school wasn't like that. We didn't have a football team or anything like that, so there was no camaraderie around any sort of sport or whatever. Same. Yeah. And so I get to my very first time ever going to this event, and I was like, these kids are in their school colors, and they've got paint all over them, and they are serious about this rowing, and I love it. And the work that they put in to raise money for their schools and their charities, whoa, unbelievable. The Royal Rush, you hear about them all the time. Maybe it's because I live in Riverview, but they do some amazing work raising money. And so if you haven't had a chance to go and watch the games, whether you partake or not, going and watching the games is truly a sight to be seen.
Yeah, and it's, right in the heart of downtown Moncton on Jones Lake, right? You really can't miss it if you're downtown the first weekend of June. Kind of like the following weekend, the third weekend in June, which is Father's Day weekend. Again, you are not going to be able to ignore what is happening. So on the 17th of June, which is the Saturday, is the annual Greater Moncton Highland Games and Scottish Festival, which I am associated with, and it's going to be a fantastic time. If you came last year, it'll be similar, but sort of a little bit smaller. Everything's going to take place in 2 baseball fields rather than across all 6. So if you found it a little too big to get around and see everything last year, you're going to love this year, because it's all going to be condensed back down to the 2 fields, which is the way it used to be back 2019 and a couple years before that. Same thing, there's heavy events, bagpipe competition, Highland dancers, there's going to be Highland cows and a petting zoo, there's bouncy castles, the blacksmith on site, the sword fighters. If you guys have been with us for a while, you might remember last year we got to sword fight here in the studio. I will put a link to that in the show notes as well, because you're going to want to go back and listen and hear that one. That was hilarious, getting us to have swords in the studio.
It was a good episode.
But the sword fighter is back. Concerts, music, everything. And to get into the grounds on Saturday is just $10 a person, or $25 for 2 adults and your accompanying children. And that's for the whole day. That includes the bouncy castles, that includes the horse and wagon rides, that includes the music, all that kind of stuff. Bring money for food, bring money for face painting, everything else. Once you pay to get on the site, it's open to you. So we're super excited to have that back. So that's on the 17th, the Saturday of the Father's Day weekend.
Hang tight, because I see that you were about to skip over something. The Tartan Run. One of my favorite
Tosh comes
5Ks.
for.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a super fun run. It's very low key. If you are a person who just wants to start to get into 5Ks, come and do the 5K run. Please, if you have some tartan or plaid, wear it. If you don't, that's okay. You're still allowed to come.
Yeah.
But it's really fun when everyone shows up. I've got this awesome picture of you with like a sash on. My husband's got this tam with like multicolored tartans on it. It was scrap material that he actually bought the hat from a place in Scotland when he was there.
Yeah?
It's like they're scraps and they turn them into these funky hats with all
Fun.
kinds of, so you've got like 10 different clans on your head. People wear tutus. They come up with all kinds of fun things to do. So yeah, that one's a really nice one because it's at 10 a.m. so it's not super early, but it's also not super late in the day. It's usually nice weather for running. You know, sometimes it's not the nicest weather for everything, but it usually works out well for runners.
It's not too hot. Yep.
Not too hot, not too cold because it's at 10. And yeah, you leave the grounds, which is the Halbet's Sportsplex here, the sports fields downtown in Moncton, and you run across the trails into Riverview and back, and you just do a loop.
Yeah.
And obviously, yes, walking, strollers, all of it's all good. And your admission, your race fee to get into race gets you into the grounds, so you don't pay twice.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
and you get a
amazing.
really cool medal for that one.
Yeah, you do. And they're beautiful. And if you are a runner for medals only, like me, or sometimes there's beer, but this is definitely a fun run, like Jenna said, to take part in. Even that run that you have the picture from, which I can't even remember how many years ago it was now, but Sarah, my oldest daughter, ran it with me, and she was like, what, 5?
She was, she's little in the pictures.
Yeah, very little.
It was either 18 or 19, 2018 or 2019. So she was little either way.
Yeah, she was little and she ran it. I mean, on my back a lot of the time, but still, that was her very first run, and it was kind of the one that got her all excited about them too. So
awesome.
Yeah,
well,
worth
and
it.
if running is your thing, the following day on the Sunday, the Three Fathers Run is back downtown again this year. And that's always a huge event, a huge success, lots of different levels for that one as well. If you're a serious runner, they have longer routes. They, I believe, do a 1K for kids as well, and maybe 1K for those of us who don't want to do 5.
That's fair.
I still wouldn't run 1K. I would still walk it, but you know,
That's fine.
We've talked about that before.
Forward is the right direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, that one's a great cause. And that weekend in June, the Snowbirds are scheduled to be in town as well.
Ooh.
So both those days, if you're downtown taking in things, there's a very good chance that you'll have some really interesting flyovers happening as well.
Man, we got it all.
It is. I mean, a lot of these things are weather dependent, and
Yes.
you know, things come up, things happen. But that's what's on the schedule for that weekend right now. And I'm sure there's lots more because that's Father's Day weekend. But
It's true.
you know, that'll get you started.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much like that you can see and do if you're staycationing. You know that Jen and I are big fans of staycations, whether staying in your own province, staying in your own city, maybe driving 20 minutes outside of the city, whatever it may be. Now that we are through Victoria Day weekend, your major tourist attractions are back open. So Hopewell Rocks are now officially open for the season. One of
Fundy
our
Parkway.
Fundy Trail Parkway, that's right. Which they might be gone, but New Brunswick Public Libraries, if you have a public library card, you can go into the library, show your card, and get a pass to use to get into free to the Fundy Trail Parkway, but only until the end of the month to use it. And who knows how many passes are left at your local library. I would go and eat those up real fast. So
Yes.
yeah, go and check
You
that
should go
out.
regardless
Yep.
because the libraries
Yep.
are awesome. And if you're looking for free programming for yourself, for your kids, for anyone in your family, for now or for the summer, check out the libraries because I know our library in Salisbury just posted about their summer programming getting underway. They don't have the schedule out yet, but they have their students in place. They're starting to build out their schedule for the summer. I know the Moncton Library, Dieppe, Riverview. So many community libraries with so many amazing programs. So be sure to check them out. And even if you're not one to like sign up for a weekly thing, a lot of those are drop-ins, especially in the summer. Really fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of them are free too. So they're definitely worth looking into if you're one of your first summers, maybe with the littles home, and you're not sure how to entertain them. Trust me, we know the stress of trying to keep your kids busy all summer long. So definitely follow all of the public libraries in your area. I have, Dieppe, Moncton, Riverview all on my Facebook, just to, because they all do different things all the time, and they are really, really an excellent resource for sure.
Yeah, and they're great, if you are trying to deal with little kids at home for the summer. summer. Rainy day, library's great. Too hot outside, library's great. Just need to get out of the sun, need something to do. There have definitely been summers where I've gotten multiple days a week with the kids to get new books. And they don't just have books. You can rent audiobooks, you can rent DVDs, you can play with Legos. It's a lot more than just a place to be quiet and take out books.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Gone are the days of the, I mean, you still should be quiet in the library, don't get me wrong. Still teach your children that, please, I beg of you. But gone are the days of it being like not a place to stay and spend time. They definitely set it up so that...
No, it's much more of a welcoming community place than I think some people might remember a library being. And certainly, a place like Moncton, the kids section is very far away from the adult section. In the kids section, they expect there to be a certain level of noise and activity, and there's lots of space to play. And so, if you're the type who's anxious about what your kids are going to be like in a quiet place like a library, you might really be surprised. And if you're at a smaller community library, you might be the only ones there.
This is true.
A lot of times when I'd go to Salisbury Library with my kids, we'd be the only ones there. And so if they were getting a little bit loud, you knew that they weren't interrupting someone else who was trying to read or trying to work. And if they did, well, then you pull out the librarian voice. But anyway, moving on. So we got to Father's Day weekend.
Yes. Before we sidetracked,
Yes.
I'm pretty impressed with us, actually.
Of course, if we're talking about summer activities and we're talking with me, then I need to mention food because we've established on the show many times this is how I plan vacations.
Fabulous, fabulous.
So of course, Rib Fest.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic time. Music, ribs, entertainment, all kinds of fun. That's back on the waterfront here in downtown Moncton again this summer. And if you're listening or watching elsewhere in the province, just look up Rib Fest and where you live because these guys travel around.
Yes.
Right? And most places it's Rotary groups that are putting on the event. So if you've got a Rotary group, you're probably going to have a Rib Fest this year. Check it out. And if not, hey, maybe you can start one and let us know about it.
Ooh, yes, because we will come and eat.
Yes, Rib Fest is amazing.
Rib Fest is really great. By far, one of my favorite parts of Rib Fest is the pig calling. What do they call that? The hog call?
Oh, yes.
The hog call.
I was wondering where you were going with this because you're basically vegetarian.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite part of Rib Fest.
Yeah.
Because
It's
the cornbread.
The sauce. Oh, the cornbread is good too. Or barbecued corn on the cob. Okay.
Ooh, very good.
Now we're going to get off topic. But
now I'm getting hungry.
That too. The hog call. You should stay and watch the hog call. They've got great live acts.
Oh my goodness, the entertainment.
Oh yeah. They've already got their schedule out this year, so you can check them out on Facebook if you'd like, and find out their complete schedule and all of the ribs that are going to be coming to town as well.
Yeah, and that's coming up towards the end of June, which is when school lets out, of course.
Yes.
And we really get into the summer schedule, and what really kind of always marks the start of summer in that sense, of course, is Sunfest in Riverview, which kind of usually starts around when the kids get out of school and goes until Canada Day. So that little chunk of time there, if you're looking for activities to do, look and see what the town of Riverview is doing, especially because this year is their 50th anniversary year for the town. I know they've got some amazing stuff planned.
They do, and it starts on the 24th, so that is the day after the kids get out of school, and it will kick off with their 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which is a big thing in the Taylor House. And I think you might see yours truly there emceeing it as well. So
I was going to say, you can play basketball?
No.
I might come to see that.
No, I will not. You want to see me get destroyed in basketball, you can come watch my 10-year-old practice against me. It's something. Yeah.
So that's us. So Sunfest will kind of kick off the summer season in Riverview, and of course it wraps up with Canada Day, and then Canada Day we have Whoa Canada, which is downtown Moncton, Sloan and Les Hay Babies. Wow, that's
Huge
going to be
lineup.
so fun. Great concert downtown, and the Tri-Community Fireworks are on the schedule. So weather permitting, there will be a fantastic fireworks show that night for Canada Day.
Yep.
We always tell our daughter that that's just her birthday celebration.
Absolutely. Mine too. She's the day before me, so at least it's actually on her birthday. But that's very exciting. And the fireworks I find every year are getting bigger and better, which is super exciting as well. I am guilty of putting my kids to bed. And last year I took them for the first time, so I think I'm going to have to from now on. But it was it was an exciting scene, and we found a spot to park on Coverdale Road in Riverview where we didn't have to get out of the car and we could still see everything, and it was awesome because who's kidding who? It's black fly and mosquito season then.
Yes, and it's like around the longest days of the year. So for fireworks, you have to wait till I think it's like 10:30 before they expect those ones to go off. 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah,
Don't
roughly.
quote me on that one. Look it up.
It's late.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Double source that information, please.
Which you can do on pickleplanetmoncton.com, just not today.
Which also has a source link. Actually, no, it's on there already.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can click back to the city's website.
Okay.
Everything I put up there, the source is there. The link is there. Not the code, but anyway.
The link is there.
The link is there.
And that's just a few things. So we're only into the beginning of July now. We've made it to July 1st weekend. What do you got on your? You've got them all in there, and I'm impressed.
I do. There's because I gotta keep the kids entertained.
This is her job. Yeah.
What I'm really excited about heading into July, though, is downtown Moncton has some new festivals happening this year. All the usual stuff looks like it's back. So you've got, Atlantic Nationals. You've got free music that will be happening throughout Moncton, Riverview, Dieppe. I'm sure other communities as well. And as those schedules come out, we'll be sharing and posting about those. But pretty much, I remember a few years ago, like every night of the week, you could find free music somewhere in the city. And I think we're getting back to that level now. But in addition, there's going to be a busker festival in downtown Moncton in July this year. How exciting is that?
I see so many people commenting about how excited they are because they've been going to Halifax for it.
Or St. John. Sometimes St. John has a really good one as well. But yeah, lots of people travel from here to other cities to see buskers. And now the buskers are coming to us.
This is cool.
It's
cool.
Very cool. Yes, because this is a year where I think, a lot of people are sticking very close to home again, even though, it's not because there are restrictions, but there are restrictions maybe on our budgets and our finances and, just how much it costs for your daily activities. You're looking for things that are close to home and are low cost or free. The Busker Festival is going to be a super fantastic one. Now, obviously, you should bring some money to pay the buskers because that's right in the name of what they do, but it's not like there's an admission fee where you have to give a set amount or have to be worried that you're going to buy a ticket for something and then your kids are going to flake on you.
It happens. It happens.
It does. Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Yes. Find all the free entertainment you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which then brings us to a chalk festival as well.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, downtown Moncton. So the chalk festival doesn't happen until August, so they space them out a little bit, which is fantastic because you don't want everything all together. You need to keep things going through the summer. But yeah, in August, early August, there's going to be a chalk street festival here. And so Sackville's been doing one for a while, which is very fantastic. And now there'll be some in downtown Moncton as well. If you haven't been able to travel to Sackville to take part in that one, you'll be able to see what's happening here in the city, which is going to be super cool. What else have we talked about that we talked about before we started the show? Because we were going through the list of, there's all these great things that are coming up already for
Which
the
is
summer.
why my phone was on the counter.
Yes.
Just in case. There is one thing that you and I are going to be involved in this summer, and we're going to have someone on the show to talk more about it closer to the end of the month. But we are teaming up with our friends at the Moncton YMCA. They're going to be providing some amazing entertainment for your kiddos and for the whole family throughout parks this summer. And Jen and I are super pumped to be a part of that.
Yes, that is going to be so much fun when we roll out the entire schedule of what's happening there. But rest assured, yes, every week of the summer, you're going to be able to find something free and fun to do with the family. And one of those things is definitely going to be the YMCA parties, the block parties. If you're in any small community, most communities have block parties as well. And I know, if you're in Riverview, they have an online post where you can go in and request to set one up for your community, which is really cool. Another thing that used to be a huge event that we haven't seen in a little while is the Dieppe Imagine Air Festival coming back. That is going to be, let's see the date there, the end of July. So that's exactly kind of where we were chronologically before we lost track.
I'm impressed with us. I really am. That Imagine Air, oh my gosh, happens in Dover Park, and it is a sight for the eyes.
It is.
You'll be wowed.
Feast. Oh yes.
Yeah,
wow. It is incredible. It was happening every 2 years. And so I think we're getting back on track with that again. So if you've moved here recently or your kids are little, you haven't been paying attention to this kind of stuff, you might not know about it, make plans to go. It is these massive, amazing kites. And in the past, they've done the kite fighting. They've done just big, it reminds me of the Atlantic Balloon Festival.
Ooh, yeah.
because it's similar in this, they're not hot air balloons, but they're these massive kites that just have cool patterns and the sky is filled with them. And then there's usually concessions and rides and all kinds of other things happening on site as well. So definitely make a point to go and check that out at the end of July this year.
They're really, it's hard to believe that they're kites. You know, like, because they're so big and the majority of people can't actually fly even a dollar store kite. So see these things in the air and they're free up there. And like you said, they fight with them and it's remarkable. So yeah, you can check out more information about Imagineer coming to town as well at the end of July, because it is something to see. That's for sure. What else is there?
There's a whole host more of smaller events. Those are some of the bigger festivals for the first chunk of the summer.
Yeah.
There's usually a few more that, we're not quite close enough for the organizers to have all the details about late August, because I know there's a few things that are maybe in the works that I can't say yet, but Pride is on. So we'll talk about that one, and maybe that'll be the last one we tell you about, because I can't spill the beans about something else. So yeah, Greater Pride, Pride Moncton, River of Pride is the name of the organization. So the Pride Festival in Moncton usually happens at the end of August, which is a little bit different if you live elsewhere in the country. Pride events usually happen in June. And there was a reason for it happening later in the year here. Part of it, I think, just has to do with making sure that it's spread out among the communities so that people can travel from one to the other and not compete against each other. So Moncton's River of Pride, there's usually about a whole week full of workshops and events, a lot of family-friendly activities, as well as a lot of things that are for adults and for special groups. But there's usually a fantastic parade. And that's another one that we hope to bring you a little bit more detail about before we wrap up for our season, because the other nice thing about summer is we take it off. So you've only got us for a couple more weeks, and then we'll be into reruns. We'll keep you entertained, don't worry.
Yes.
There's always more to come.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yes, but yeah, River of Pride will be towards the end of August, right into the beginning of September. And yeah, I think you've got one other
I do, actually. You did mention the Atlantic Balloon Festival, which will be in Sussex. It's the beginning of September as well. And then through September 22nd through the 23rd, it is the Mosaic Multicultural Festival, which is also something
in September.
Apparently. I'm looking at their Facebook page right now.
Well, maybe in September, when we come back for our new season, we will talk about that more. Because in the past, Mosaic had usually happened in July, and I know it was it's hard to coordinate a lot of things in the summer.
It is, absolutely. But plus, people do like to go away.
Yes. So having things stretched into September, I'm loving this new trend of these things that are trickling more into September. This is very fun, because the weather is still fantastic then.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We're so lucky out here to have summer really continue most years into October. So if we can keep that up
and
this
if you
year.
listen to my children who look only at what it says on the calendar, summer still is happening. So
they're not wrong. I'm with them. I am with them. Absolutely.
All right, that was a whole lot of information we threw at you, whether you're listening or watching. If you want to find links to all those things we talked about, and probably some others that we forgot to mention, it was, no bad feelings. We were doing this off the cuff, trying to remember them all. We will have these all in the show notes. You can find that on pickleplanetmoncton.com. And we'll be back again next week. We hope you will be too.
Maybe with somebody else to talk to.
Definitely. We'll definitely have a guest.
See you next week.